y bienvenidos a este webinar sobre Precast Concrete, una solución para el diseño automatizado de elementos prefabricados en Revit. Bienvenidos a todos. Antes que nada, explicaros un poco cómo funcionaremos en este webinar. Veis que a mano derecha tenéis un pequeño panel de control de color naranja con una flechita. Ahí podéis interactuar con nosotros a través del chat. Así que si se os ocurren algunas preguntas, algunas cuestiones, las podéis poner en el chat y las responderemos una a una de forma personalizada por email cuando finalice el webinar. Bien, supongo que se me escucha correctamente y nada, vamos directamente ya a comenzar. Bien, para todos aquellos que estéis trabajando en fábricas de producción de elementos prefabricados o en ingenierías que trabajéis con proyectos de elementos prefabricados, hoy presentamos esta solución y vamos a participar en esta presentación dos personas. Una será Valensas Balcevicius, que es ingeniero de cálculo de estructuras de la empresa Agacat, que son los desarrolladores de este software. Él es el ingeniero de aplicaciones BIM en Agacat y está certificado por Revit, ¿no? Yo soy Sergi Ferrader, soy arquitecto, soy el responsable de productos BIM en Aeon Soluciones. Y para explicaros un poco el contexto en el que nos encontramos, deciros que, bueno, Aeon Soluciones somos una empresa que nació con el objetivo, pues, de proporcionar ventajas competitivas a nuestros clientes, que son básicamente profesionales y empresas de arquitectura, ingeniería y construcción, ¿no? Nosotros básicamente estamos buscando soluciones de nueva generación que salgan en el mercado, que cubran todo el proceso de diseño, toda la fase BIM, desde el proceso de diseño, construcción hasta la explotación de edificios y infraestructuras. Y lo que buscamos, pues eso, ¿no? Son aplicaciones que veamos que son realmente interesantes y novedosas para, bueno, para realmente dar una solución profesional a un problema concreto que tengan nuestros clientes, ¿no? Es decir, muchas de ellas son soluciones verticales, como las que presentamos hoy, a nivel de, bueno, pues de diseño de elementos prefabricados a partir de un modelo BIM arquitectónico hecho en Revit. Todos los que estamos en Aeon Soluciones, hace años que estamos trabajando en diferentes empresas, llevamos una gran experiencia tanto en la comercialización como en la implantación, la formación y la consultoría de software y sobre todo en ayudar a las empresas a trabajar mejor con las mejores soluciones dentro del sector de la construcción. Bien, tal como os comentaba, vamos a ser dos los que vamos a estar aquí en este webinar. El webinar en vivo y en directo lo va a realizar Valensas en inglés. Ya veréis que se entiende perfectamente su inglés y además bueno, la presentación va a durar aproximadamente 45 minutos. Es muy gráfica y para los que seáis usuarios de Revit, pues lo entenderéis perfectamente porque os encontraréis en un entorno que ya conocéis y los que no, veréis que es perfectamente seguible, a pesar de que vuestro inglés no sea muy alto, pero porque se entiende perfectamente tanto por los gráficos como por lo que explica Valensas, ¿no? Básicamente, Agacat es uno de los desarrolladores con más amplia gama de software BIM para usuarios profesionales de Revit, es de las empresas que dispone de más software para BIM, con más de 111.000 usuarios en 130 países. Y lo que vamos a presentar hoy va a ser una solución para el diseño completo y modelado de elementos prefabricados de hormigón sobre la plataforma Revit. Veréis que con Precast Concrete podremos crear elementos prefabricados a partir de los elementos arquitectónicos que ya hemos creado en nuestro modelo de Revit. Podremos insertar detalles, podremos crear listados de elementos, obtendremos directamente las planillas y veremos cómo realmente todo el flujo de trabajo a partir de que estamos modelando el diseño, el resto de la información se va actualizando hasta la planilla, con lo cual el ahorro de trabajo y esfuerzo a la hora de crear finalmente en las planillas de producción, pues es realmente importante. La aplicación Precast Concrete incluye estas funciones, el Floor Panel Layout, que nos servirá para convertir pues, lo que son los forjados, las losas de Revit en hacer el panelado de forjados prefabricados. Luego Smart Walls para todo lo que es la gestión, el manejo y modelado de muros y sus juntas. Los Smart Details para crear las conexiones y los detalles de las conexiones. El Softmart para crear una clasificación automática de los elementos. Y finalmente los Smart Assemblies que nos van a permitir crear los dibujos, las planillas de nuestro modelo. Y básicamente lo que veremos en este seminario, nos concentraremos básicamente en lo que será en el trabajo con elementos de muro prefabricados, con conexiones automáticas de muros para diferentes tipos de conectores. Veremos el nuevo aspecto del Floor Panel Layout y maneras de crear y modificar y actualizar forjados a partir de modelos arquitectónicos. Y finalmente la actualización automática de las planillas de las Smart Assemblies cada vez que modifiquemos algún elemento en el modelo. Además, ejecutaremos algunos comandos interesantes, como puede ser la división de elementos, muros arquitectónicos en elementos, muros prefabricados separados, cómo crearemos diferentes tipos de forjados a partir de un forjado arquitectónico, cómo voy a insertar diferentes cortes en los muros para soportes de losas, o en las caras del muro para el soporte de conexiones, etcétera. Cómo insertamos detalles en diferentes puntos de muros y vigas, por ejemplo. Cómo insertamos conexiones entre elementos. Cómo cambiamos el tamaño de los detalles de forma automática en función de las dimensiones del elemento que hospeda el detalle. Cómo vamos a crear las vistas de montaje y finalmente cómo colocaremos estas vistas en las planillas de forma automática, ¿no? Así que con todo ello, yo le voy a pasar ahora, para ver la demo en vivo, el audio a Valensas para que él os haga la presentación. Insisto, cualquier comentario que nos queráis hacer va a ser respondido a posteriori porque va a quedar registrado aquí en el chat. Así que yo voy a pasarle ahora la conexión. Adelante, Valensas. When you want, you can start.
So, buenos dias to everyone. I hope you can see my screen now with a Revit. So I will not talk a lot. I will just show how does it work, how our tools works. Okay, so I will demonstrate a couple of tools how to work with precast elements in Revit. All of them are included in Precast Concrete. On this side, you see tools for BIM doc. You can download it from our webpage, and then you will find all of our tools here in the store. So you see all of our tools. You can install them, and then you can use them later. So today I will use a couple of tools, and first of them is Smart Walls. Okay, all of the commands are listed here. I can use it from this doc, or I can click on this one and then I can drag it from here and I can find the same commands here. So I can do the same with all the tools, and also if I need some help I can click on this one and it will bring me straight to the help page, some getting started videos, webinars and technical documentation available here. But let's take a look, how does it work and what can we do with this solution. So when you model some elements in Revit, you can further use our tools to reach the result you want. So what do we have in Smart Walls? We have Decompose Wall. So this option gives us opportunity to split the multi-layered wall into a couple of walls. So if I will select, let's say, 2 of these walls and I will click on Decompose, I have some configurations how to decompose them, what wall should still remain and so on. But now you will see that I have different walls, and if I will, I can select them, and these are not the layers anymore, but only walls. So let's say I make them architectural, and I have only structural walls now. So that's one of the features, but let me just undo that. Let me leave it like this. And what actually I want to show is other functionality, which I use more for the to create panels for the precast elements. And in wall gaps section, I have some gap configuration by wall type settings. So in these settings, I can define what should be the gap when I split the walls into the panels. So let's say for this type of wall, I want to have 20 millimeters gap. For this type of wall, I want to have 0 millimeter gap, and so on. So to work with walls, we have split wall menu, and we have shorten pick wall end command, which I use a lot. So let me just switch to level 0 and show you how it works. So if I select this short pick wall end and shorten pick wall end, and I select the end of the wall, so you will see what happens. It just disallowed joint, and it will give me this gap, which is defined in these configurations. So I can go around my walls. I can just separate them, just make some individual walls separated from the others. If I will click on this one, I can change the position, right? Okay, so let me just do this a couple of more times. Okay, this one also, and this one. Okay, so I separated the walls. Now they are not joined. This is what I want actually. Now I will switch over to the split wall menu, and what do we have inside here? We have some splitting commands, like individual splitting commands by selecting grids or other walls. We can split by openings. So let me just go to free view, and I will actually use this. We have split settings here, right? So how to split around windows, around doors, around other openings, and what should be the distance for the panels when we are splitting them by using these commands, right? The maximum is for this command, and this distance is for other commands. So we can define some settings here and then use it. So I select a couple of walls and split from selected openings. So it will just do it like this. Then let's say I would like to split these walls also just from the start of a wall by defined distance, right? So now I have this wall where the length of the wall is just based on my splitting settings, right? And then the leftover here. And so I splitted some of the walls. If I select this one, split by maximum, let's say, spacing, right? So again, I have big walls just based on this maximum spacing value. So it just divides all the length of the wall and applies the biggest value it may. Then I have some individual splitting options. Let's say I can use grid lines to split the walls. So I will go to the section view. So let's say I just create grids like this, different type, and then I can, place some dimensions and define really exact positions of my splitting location, right? So let's say I can fix that, and then I can split by selected grids. So I select the grids which I want to be as a splitting points, escape, and select the wall, and then escape, and then it will split into the exact panels which I defined with the grid lines, right? So now I have all these panels splitted. Let me go to this view. So, okay, I have it here. I have this one. Okay, so that's basically that's it. You can explore some of the options if you want to. You can download any of these tools and use 14 days trial. So you can explore other features if you want to. But now let's move on and try to use other solution. So I will use from the, okay, I will hide this one. So now I will use floor panel layout. This is the tool to work with floors to create hollow core slabs or double T slabs or filigrane slabs or massive slabs, bubble deck slabs, whatever you want. But actually this is for the how to create panels based on existing floor. So now you see I have one floor, just one single floor above all of the walls. And I will use this tool to create my floor panels. So first of all, I want to select the floor supports. So now from this menu, I will use a couple of commands just to define my support. So there are a couple of commands to pick these supports. So let's say I will add supports. When I select the wall, it will add, you see the split line to this floor. So I have regions. Where do I want to place my floors? So I want to have a floor from here to here, from here to here, and from here to here. So I need some regions, okay? So I'll add a couple of more. So I will add this one. I will add this one. No, actually, I would like to make it a little bit in a different way. I can also, I think I will do it like this. I will split this one again by selected grids. Okay, so now I have it. I think it will be better also for the floors. So let me do that. Okay, I have it like this. Okay, add supports, additional supports. Okay, so now it's what I want. Okay, so now I have different regions here. So I just split into the regions and I select the supports, right? So I will close down this one. I will open panel layout. In the panel layout settings, again, we have what size of a panel should be created and what should be the rule. So when I select that, I can select the option if I want to create panels for one of the floor. So just like this. Maybe I will just delete that. Or I can do that for the whole floor, right? So I select one of the panels and it will just create the layout of the panels based on the supports. If I don't like, let's say this region, I don't like it, I want to update it. So I can click on this side, close to this side. This will define the direction of my floors. So if I will click on that, it will change the direction, right? If I click on this, near this side, it will change direction to that side. So I can modify that. Okay, so I want to have it like this. Again, I can join the regions, you know, maybe I want to have massive slab in this place or just cast in place region and so on. So I can do that. Then let's say I can modify the panel layout, right? So I will just select this one, change the distance, modify, and it will give me a different layout, okay? So currently what I do is I'm just doing the planning, right? So I have only, these are only the lines, I don't have actual panels. But that's why I need this last step, is to create floors just in these planned areas. But in panel settings, I can define that I want to have this kind of support width for the panel above the wall. So I can define these values. I can select the parameters for the floors. So I can make a schedule with the width and length, right? Then precast floor, I just select the type of the floor, and I can insert holes if I want to, right? So these are predefined holes, but you can modify them if you want to, and so on. So you prepare these settings. How do you want to have supports, and then what kind of floors should be used, and then you create panels for the selected floor face or for the whole floor. So let me do that for the selected floor face, and I will just select one of these lines, and you will see now that in this area I have this kind of floors. They have automatically calculated parameters, so I can make a schedule. These holes are generic model family. I can edit and modify it just simply by editing this profile. This is the sweep, right? So you can easily edit this family just based on your local manufacturer. Okay, so let me get back here. Maybe just another one, create over here. So again, the floors like this. In the leftover, which is not 1.2 meter, so I have only cast in place or just selected type of a floor, right? So this is the different type of a floor. This one applies in this area. Again, I want to change the size, let's say, for the small slabs. I want to use different holes, right? So I will do it like this. Sorry about that. Create panel and just create it here. So now I have smaller slabs over here in this area. Then let's say I don't want to have holes. I just want to have this thickness of the floor. So now I'll create floors over here. So now I have, you know, the floor which goes like this. And if I will go to level 3, right, and I will measure now the distance for my floors. So this is the floor which I created. And you see that this is the distance, 8 millimeters, like I did here in the settings. For the walls, I have 8 millimeters or from the face. So when I create the floor, it just automatically place my floor in this, extends the floor over the structural wall. So that's how we can create panels, right? We can create our floors. Let me go back to this view. And okay, when we model these elements, right, what can we do next is to use smart details. So smart details basically is a solution to insert details, connections, cuts, just to get to the final shape of our elements. So let me show how does it work. It has configurations. In the configuration, you select category of elements which you want to work with. Let's say I want to work with walls. So I switch over to this category. And then, okay. Now you see I have created a lot of configurations, but just for different purposes. So what you see here is tabs where you define where and what kind of detail and in what kind of rules should be used to place this detail. So these are for the line-based elements and these are for the point-based elements. So let's say I select this tab and I want to place on this face some kind of detail, right? So I go to this detail priority tab, I select my family which I want to use from the list or from the family browser which I have. So these families could come from manufacturer or you can create them on your own. And you decide where to place it. So I want to place this in the bottom, at the bottom face of my wall at this time. And I want to place it just side offset. You see all the options here. Some start offset, so on. I want to use the rule maximum spacing. And then I want to place in other direction. In this direction, I want just to place it in the center and just one element. Right, and then layout correction, we have some options here to look for the solid faces like you see in the picture. So if there is not enough space, this detail will not be inserted and so on. Then what else we have? Let me switch over to our CAD configuration, and I will show you, let's say, I can, okay, what else? What should be, okay. I want to insert detail at the end of my wall only if I have T connection with other walls. Right, so if I have T connection, okay, maybe this one. So I want to place on the side of the wall if I have T connection with the wall. So I have different kind of connections with other elements. It could be walls, it could be structural framings or other elements. If I find intersection, I will place this detail. If not, this detail will not be placed at all. So let's just close down this window and see how it works. Actually, maybe I'll just filter that. Check none. Okay, I'll just hide these temporary these elements, and let me just select a couple of these elements. Right, maybe this one, and now I will select to insert details. And the list of configurations appears, and if I select my configuration, this one, and I will insert details, right? So it will just place the details based on the rules for all of these elements. So we will see some different results because, as I said, we can search for different connections and insert different kind of details. So let's take a look to this one, right? So it has only end connections, so it plays only these details just based on my settings. Then these details at the bottom face and these details at the top face of my wall. Also, I have this kind of cut at the end of the wall, so I can place it and I can use it, right? And then let's take a look to this one. If we'll take a look from the top, maybe it's just best visible view. So you see we have these type of connections because we have T connection. If I will select this detail and click on modify, you will see that this detail is only inserted if we have T connection with wall. So now I have this detail and I have this detail in the intersection with walls. Then this one, again, at the end it has just a simple one, but then it has L connection like this between the walls. So it plays this detail when it's L connection with other walls. So I can define what kind of detail and where it should be inserted, right? So these are a couple of examples. Okay, maybe I will show you another one. Or maybe, okay, we can switch over to the other one. Let's say over here, right? So if I will select, let me just filter the floors. So I selected a couple of walls, floors, select to insert details, select the configuration which I want to use, and insert them, right? So now I have my cuts at the end of the floor. So again, this is just what I create, right? I can modify this. This is the line-based details placed on the top. I can just make some changes, click on an update, do some individual changes. I can select the floor again, just modify these details, just go here. I have some predefined details, so I will just click on update, insert and update, right? So I will place some anchoring cuts for this selected floor and so on. So I can quickly make some manual modifications. So I have modify, update, delete options and so on. So let's take a look to a couple of more examples. I have here, let's say, these walls, they are pretty high, right? So I just placed some of the reveals by defined rule. I placed also some sweep just outside, right, the wall, to join with the wall. Then I have at the top I have a cut and so on. So these details are good also. Oh, I see these details are bad, but actually what I will do is just click on modify. I know that I selected the wrong family here. I need to select this one. Actually, because smart details have possibility to read information from the object. So you see now the wall is this size, but the details finds the size of the wall, and if we'll take a look to the family, you can create special parameters which will change, let's say, the size of your detail or the distance between your details just based on your element size. So that's why it just follows the size of the wall over here. Okay, so I'll show you a couple of more examples here. These walls. Okay, maybe I'll just go to the section view and let's take a look now. I have this kind of walls. I have this kind of opening just joined with a couple of concrete, right? And I have wall like this, and like this. So let me just select these walls and do the auto insert. So what does it mean, auto insert? It means that it will read configuration name, which is inside this parameter. So it reads this name of configuration and it will apply that configuration. I don't need to, you know, to go and select from the list. Okay, so what do we have? What's the result? I have placed some cut at the bottom and I have cut the top and I have added this concrete detail. So now I have good connection. For the top wall, again, I have this kind of cut just to cut the top wall. So now it looks good. And in the section view, of course, I have some vertical cuts over here at the ends. Okay, these are my window families, but basically that's another type of a wall which could be created, right? Then let me show you a couple of more examples. Let's say I will just select a couple of these, and okay, I will just do the same. I'll click on auto insert. Hopefully I have added the names of configurations. Okay, so 16, 17 walls at the end. Okay, so I have like 36 walls with details now. So these are massive walls, right? So as previously I showed you, like this, then we have T connection, we have these elements, then we have L connection, again we have some bend, stirrups and so on. So it could be like this, but these elements are sandwich walls. So I placed just a couple of details right over here. Let's say if I will delete this, I'll do actually update details, right? So you will see now that I have additional tube here because there is enough space for this element. And in this case, I don't have this one because there is just not enough space. So I can define that in my rules. If I'll go to level 0 and we'll take a look to this view, what did I do? I just placed a couple of openings, just created some families, just the shape, how do I make my connections. when I placed these elements, distributed them along the detail and so on. So over here we have also some connections at the corner. So again, I have decided how and what should be done. What kind of connections do I usually use? And then I created these walls. This is the cut which I inserted at the top to place my hollow core slabs and so on. So you can define whatever you want, right? Some architectural reveals or whatever. Okay, what do we have? Floors. Okay, walls examples we have here. Maybe just I will just stop here. You can insert plates, right? So just different kind of connection, or just at the bottom if you use this kind of connection. So again, these are just simple face-based families, right? So if I edit this family, this is just simple extrusions and placed in the location I want, right? So it's really nothing to create them or to use some families from manufacturers. I will switch over to floor examples. So again, floors could be like line-based element inserted, some point-based elements. Okay, another example, filigrane slabs. Just let's say this kind of slab just with additional support elements and beams on the side. Hollow core I already showed you. Then this is the cut. Actually, this is only the void was inserted to form this kind of element. Again, this void can read information from your floor, and it can adapt, you know, the size and so on. This one, again, just based on your floor. Over here, I have this kind of detail, then a long cut along the floor. When I have distributed this kind of composite elements on the floor and so on. So you can make it in different ways. Let me maybe just go here and I will just show you a couple of examples. Let's say these, and I will select insert details, filigrane slab, insert details. And you see now I have these elements. These are just a line-based family which I created right over here. So I don't know, the maximum spacing. What's that? Can we change that? Update and have it different, right? So it's not a problem just to change that, or I don't know, just change the offset from start and so on. So depends on your settings. Okay, maybe in this direction we can also make it different. So again, modifications could be just as you want, just quickly in the local area for the local selected elements. Let me switch over to this one again. If I will select, let's see, foundations again, I think we can insert some elements here. This is the wrong family probably. Okay, I will just make it over to the update of my details. No, you don't want to. Insert and column bolts. So this one was already. Why it didn't work out? I know. When I place the detail, I need to change this, and then probably this time it should use the last settings. I will again. I have used wrong size. Okay, so I'll just do it like this now. Insert details, insert some bolts. Okay, so I have them like this, right, on the foundations. But now what I want to do is to select the, let me see, columns and framing elements, and just I will click on auto insert, okay, because I have entered again the name of configuration into the beams. I just don't want to waste your time by picking the configurations from the list. So let's just see. Okay, so I have selected 59 elements, and now I have some details, right? What do I have? Let's say this beam. So now it has this kind of elements, just inserted by gravity point, 2 elements. I don't know, I can make some changes, do the update if I want to, right? So it will just move around the gravity point of element. Again, I have placed these corbels, right? And if you see, this is the corner column. So again, it finds how many of structural framing elements we have. So if we have this beam, so we have this corbel. If we don't have beam, we don't have a corbel, right? Let's say in this area, I have already 3 corbels, 1, 2, 3, because I have 3 beams again. Then I have columns which goes from from first floor to this last floor. So when I have T connection, I have this kind of detail with anchors to the top and to the bottom. But when I have L connection, right, so I have this kind of detail, just anchors to the bottom. So if I take a look to configurations, you see L connection and this T connection, this detail. So again, another feature of smart assemblies. Then, okay, if I will make changes to this beam, right? So this is bigger beam, now it's not fitting. What can we do about it? We can just, because you see now the hole is not coming through, the corbel is not in the right location, so I will just select these 3 maybe elements and do the update. So now it will read the size of the beam again, and it will move the corbel again. So you will see now it's under the beam, because I can use special parameters like these, and just to read the size of the beam. You see, I'm just reading the size of the beam, and then I move my corbel based on that. And I also did the same with the whole family is also reading the size of the beam. You see, it's 1000, so now it's changing the size, because let's say this hole, it has this parameter which is reading the size of this beam. And again, so these are different options how to work with that. If I will, let's say, change the size of the column and I do the update of the details, you see the column shoes, they will also follow the size of my column, because now they are reading the size of the column, H and B values from the column family, which has H and B here. So actually in family I can use these parameters to move my elements. You see, these are H and B values. So if my column is bigger, the distance between my bolts will change the size, and so on. So that's another feature of smart details. But I think it's okay. Maybe it's enough for the smart details. We can just move over and try to use another solution, sort mark. So I will use it from the tools for BIM doc. I will actually move this here. And let's see, what do we have? Actually, what can we do? We can automatically number elements, right? So let's say I will select the elements which I want to renumber, let's say beams. When I go to element numbering, so this time I will just write information to the mark parameter, click on OK. And what kind of information do I want to write? I can define in these rules. I can save it just based on my settings. So I can group them, I can number them based on the selected parameters from here. Let's say instance, I don't know, what could be additional or type parameter, let's say we can add it, right? So if these values are different, then we'll get the different number. Some additional subnumbering, sorting, how to sort them, and what should be the prefix, right, before the number. And if I will click now on OK, it will give me 40 different, it will just renumber all of these beams. Some of them will have same mark because they have same length, volume, and so on. But if I will take a look now, okay, what's that? It's okay. So now the mark value appears here, right? So I have different mark values for different beams. So I can do the same for the walls, for the columns, let's say element numbering. I can do that for all one category elements or for selected elements. So let's say for the walls, right? I will do the mark and I can save different configurations. How do I want to number them? I can even use sorting coordinate. Let's say just go like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like keep the order. Or I can, let's say, add instance ID parameter, so it means all of my walls will have unique mark values. And okay, prefix and so on, so I can select what kind of, okay, 94 walls was renumbered. So if I go there, of course, now all of my walls, they have unique just number of my walls are unique and they are renumbered automatically. So that's good. Now the final stage is to create drawings. And for that I will use smart assemblies. This solution is, well, it's created to create the drawings, right? So what do we have here? We have a lot of commands, right? But let me just quickly guide you through. So shop drawing configurations. Again, we have some configurations how to and what to create. So let's go there. Where is it? Over here. So now I have a couple of configurations already created, right? Let's say this one. So you will see that I want to create these. Okay, maybe I'll just select actually the column. Maybe it's more interesting. Yeah. The column, because now I can create assembly views and I can create model views. I can create any selected type of a view, right? It could be some default Revit assembly views, or we have some flip versions. We have legends also. We can rotate automatically these views. We can select the view template we want to use. We can select the dimension rule, which is described here in the dimension rules dialog window. And again, different kind of dimension rules could be created. How to dimension main element, how to dimension openings in the main element, how to dimension hosted elements, concrete and metal details, then how to dimension rebars, what kind of information should be provided. Should we place the node? Should we place the dimension for these elements? Okay, so you prepare them and you can assign this for any view, different kind of dimension rule. Then we can tag elements, we can insert gravity point, we can reverse views and so on. These are options for the detail view, right? So for the views in the model, then we have schedules. Again, we can create as many as we want, material takeoffs by using some templates and so on. We can create it for instance of a type of assembly. Then we can create sheets and we can create sheet templates. So it means that we can place views on the sheet automatically. So let me just go ahead and show you how does it work. So I'll select only columns. I select 3 of the elements. right? If I will use, okay, so let's say if I will select this and I use Revit, so it will create one assembly like this, and you will see that all the details are not included, right? So that's the way the Revit works, and that's a little bit different with the smart assemblies. With smart assemblies is like this. I select only elements, main elements. When I click on Create Assemblies, where is it? Okay, and I select the configuration which I want to use, and I click on Create. So it will create assemblies for me. It will automatically add all the details, hosted details, to the assembly automatically. I selected also to insert gravity point, just based on material and the geometry of elements, right? Then it will also create the selected views. It will place the dimensions based on the rules, dimension rules, and it will also place the views on the sheet. So I don't need to drag my views on the sheet, because you can use template project where you keep your assemblies and your sheets of assemblies, and then use the same layout of elements in the views in the same way, in the same order. So let me show you, like this is one, this is another one, and another one. So I have 3 assemblies right now because they are all different. Let me just select another one. I want to show you also one additional feature. So I'll select this one again. Let's see. Okay, the same configuration, because now this one should be the same, I think. Yeah, it's the same. So that's why it's just the same. It's a copy of this one. So they have the same type, right? So that's the way Revit works. So let's take a look to the assemblies. So you see now I have created this assembly, and I have some dimensions just as I defined to place these dimensions, to measure the elements, to measure the gravity point, to give the total dimension of elements, to create 3D views, some schedules, place legends, and the selected number of the views, right? So maybe over here, right? Okay, this is another one. So I didn't renumber my columns, so that's why I have such names. Actually, the name of assembly is the same as the mark of the element. Okay, so I have it like this. I have created a couple of assemblies. So another functionality of smart assemblies is that, okay, let me select. Okay, so now this command selects all the same type assemblies, but I want to see the primary assembly, the assembly which has drawings. So this one has drawings, right? So I have this kind of functionality, dynamic smart assemblies update. If I will turn it on, and I will try to make changes. Oh, sorry about that. What's that? I want to add detail. Okay, this detail. So if I will make changes to assembly, it will give me a question. What do you want to do? Do you want to update drawings, or what's happening, or maybe you want to skip adding this detail, but I want to just recalculate that. So now it updates just the gravity point because I selected like that. And additionally, it will add the detail to the secondary assembly. So you see this one was updated also. If I will turn it off, right, so like this, just like that, and now we will do that. So it will be just a regular Revit way. We make changes, we get new assembly, right? And now these are 2 different assemblies. And the detail was not created in this assembly. So that's additional feature. So maybe you create the walls, right? All of your walls, and you create some assemblies and you forgot to add something to all the same type assembly, so you can add that with dynamic update functionality. Okay, what else? So we create assemblies. So let's create another one maybe. Just for this one, can I just auto create? Hopefully, if I have entered the name of configuration, again, it works the same as Smart Details. Okay, so again, it works with different categories, with different elements. Let me just show you a couple of examples and we can finish today. Okay, maybe this one, yes. I have created, yes. So this is now the drawing, automatic dimensions, automatic placement on the sheet, and so on. So let me show you a couple of examples. Let's say this is automatic drawings of filigrane slab. So again, I have just dimension for the filigrane slab, for the reinforcement, some legends, and so on. Okay, Holocaust slab I have in this project created. So again, some layout which I defined in the template sheet, in the template project. Then I have this kind of wall, right? So it has some details and so on. Then I have also modeled one wall with the rebars. So I placed one sheet only with the formwork drawings, right? So I have all these dimensions for my elements, and then I have reinforcement drawing. Okay, so I have it right there. So all the reinforcement table, and so on. So whatever information you want to, and so on. So there are more options and possibilities, but I think it's enough for today. I hope you just saw the possibilities and so on. So I just would like to give a word to the Sergi. So you can continue from here and just finish the presentation. Hopefully.
Okay, thank you, Valentas.
Yeah. Okay.
If you give me the control.
I will make a presenter, so...
Yes, thank you. Bueno, gracias, Valensas. Bueno, supongo que os habéis hecho un poco la idea de la potencia de esta herramienta, cómo podemos llegar a detallar y llegar al producto final, que serían las planillas, insertando todo tipo de detalles, que como habéis visto el procedimiento es el mismo. Definir una serie de configuraciones para todos nuestros elementos, aplicar unas reglas y seleccionar los elementos para que aplique estas reglas, ¿no? Entonces, bueno, hoy os hemos presentado esta solución de elementos prefabricados. ArchiCAD realmente desarrolla muchas otras soluciones para Revit. Tienen un montón de soluciones. Hace poco presentaron una espectacular para fachadas ventiladas, para producir fachas ventiladas a partir de elementos arquitectónicos, con todos los detalles. Estos son, bueno, digamos un poco el mundo de soluciones que ofrecen ellos para usuarios de Revit. Y, bueno, deciros que los que estéis interesados podéis probarlos sin ningún riesgo, utilizando las versiones trial de 14 días que tenéis en la página web de ArchiCAD, ¿no? Entonces, un poco veréis que en un solo menú que tenemos en Revit tenemos todo. Podéis descargar las versiones de prueba, tenéis todas las herramientas, las actualizaciones. Es lo que él llamaba el dock, ¿no? Es donde realmente tenemos todas las herramientas de software que vamos a utilizar en Revit, ¿no? Así que eso os lo podemos enviar por email para que lo tengáis. Todos los que estéis interesados, el paso sería primero descargarse el dock desde la página web de ArchiCAD, ¿de acuerdo? Veis que ya funciona para Revit 2017, 2016 y 2015. Y el siguiente paso ya sería obtener la licencia de prueba de 14 días. Por lo tanto, en el panel que tenéis ya dentro de Revit, le dais clic al Store, seleccionáis en Tools y, bueno, ahí seleccionáis qué herramientas queréis activar. Luego, vale, pues nada, pulsáis el Get la Trial, rellenáis un pequeño formulario con vuestros datos y por email os envían el código de activación para poder trabajar con los módulos que habéis descargado. Bueno, esto ha sido un poco una primera aproximación a las soluciones de elementos prefabricados sobre Revit de AgaCAD. Pues nada, como os comentaba, si estáis interesados en cualquier información, pues nos podéis enviar un email o simplemente aquí en el chat nos ponéis vuestras cuestiones, que como eran registradas, pues os iremos respondiendo si son consultas técnicas, pues técnicamente con pantallazos uno a uno. Sin más, agradeceros vuestra atención y nada, pronto estaremos en contacto con vosotros para ofreceros otras soluciones sobre el entorno Revit y otros software. Muchas gracias.